Hello, I'm Darren Magee and welcome to my Mental Health Information and Awareness channel. Now today's topic asks the question, what is avoidant personality disorder and what is it that makes it a disorder? Now, if you find this video helpful, please consider subscribing to my channel and please check out my other videos on mental health related topics. Now, when it comes to avoidance, generally, whenever we think or feel something really unpleasant, whenever we're faced with a situation that could be quite distressing, I tend to think the first thing we think of is, what gets me out of this? How can I best avoid this? Avoidant personality disorder, it's different. It's different in the sense that people with avoidant personality disorder have chronic feelings of inadequacy. They are very sensitive to being judged negatively and harshly by others in pretty much every situation. And this can come across as like an intense shyness. Now, it's part of the cluster C personality disorders. That cluster C being the anxious and the fearful cluster. And when it comes to disorder, I often think of the disorder as it's long lasting, it's persistent, and it's looking at the impact it has on an individual's day-to-day functioning, how it impacts on their relationship with themselves, with the world around them. The avoidant personality seems to affect men and women equally. And unlike the other personality disorders, the early symptoms are noticed in childhood and begin to create discomfort in adolescence and early adulthood, and they often occur in a wide range of situations. So what's life like for someone with avoidant personality disorder? It causes significant problems that can affect the ability to interact with others, to develop, to maintain relationships, and not just romantic ones, even friendships, working relationships, because there's such a low threshold for criticism. And because of this, it can lead to a life of self-isolation, low self-esteem and confidence, only ever seeing or interacting with the same people they feel comfortable with, say like immediate family members. And people with avoidant personality disorder, they often believe that they are inadequate. They often believe that people will disapprove of and criticize, and they want to hurt them. They sometimes fear that if someone was to get to know the real them, that they will be rejected. So don't let anyone know what you think. Don't let anyone know what you feel, because people will mock you for your thoughts, your feelings. They will be mocked for how they look, how they behave. So even playful teasing, even constructive criticism can be humiliating. It can be crushing. So according to DSM-5, there are 7 criteria with avoidant personality disorder. So let's have a look at them and let's see how they can affect an individual. So criteria number one, avoids occupational activities that involve significant interpersonal contact because of the fears of criticism, disapproval, or rejection. Now, this could mean that someone is, perhaps they're very talented in a particular way, they really enjoy something, but they are afraid to apply that publicly. In work, for example, they may be highly skilled, they may be the best person for a role, but they will fear going forward for that promotion or for volunteering for that role. They can often fear taking part in team sports, group hobbies and so on. They fear failing, they fear looking stupid, they fear facing ridicule. On the other hand, they may also fear succeeding, because if they were to succeed, there's now a new expectation on them. Others may envy them, pour scorn on them. Either way, it is that fear of being judged negatively, people reacting negatively towards them. And this can lead to someone feeling very unfulfilled, but also very frustrated at themselves. Criteria number 2, unwilling to get involved with people unless they are certain of being liked. Now, unless they feel safe enough, a person with avoidant personality can be afraid to speak out, speak up. Again, the fear of saying the wrong thing. They may fear blushing, stammering, mispronouncing something that someone else may laugh at or ridicule them for. Anything at all that could cause embarrassment. They spend a lot of time anxiously studying others for clues on whether or not they're being approved of or they're being rejected. And again, afterwards, they may feel very frustrated at themselves for not saying what they had to say. This can bring a lot of self-deprecation. So criteria number 3, shows restraint within intimate relationships because of the fear of being shamed or ridiculed. So again, what we see is the fear of rejection. Now, this is the thing, in all romantic relationships, there are things we love about each other every bit as much as there are things that frustrate the life out of us. But there's acceptance, there is compromise. People with avoidant personality, they tend to behave very defensively. What if they see me as I really am and leave? What if they don't see me? What if they see something else, something bad about me and leave? What if I do or say the wrong thing, something offensive or hurtful? And in relationships, what seems to be going on is, with one hand, there's that need for connection. So they're doing this, come forward. But because of that fear of being rejected and being defensive, with the other hand, they're saying that far, no further. So criteria number 4 is preoccupied with being criticised or rejected in social situations. Now, again, we see this recurring theme, the fear of being rejected. People with anxious personalities, they tend to stay on the periphery of social situations. They may fear interacting with others. Again, berating themselves afterwards for not taking part in something they may well have enjoyed. If they do turn up at something, there are times when they may leave early because they fear that their anxiety may ruin it for everyone else. Therefore, they're going to be rejected. Number 5 is inhibited in new interpersonal situations because of feelings of inadequacy. Now, I would describe this sometimes, what they do is they compare themselves unfavourably. They seem to think everyone else is much more accomplished, much more confident. And often what they do is, because they believe that, they go into situations. I would liken it to going into battle with one arm tied behind your back. You're expecting to lose, you're expecting to fail. So people with avoidant and anxious personalities, they tend to set themselves up to fail. It almost reinforces those beliefs. Which leads me on to number 6. Views self as socially inept, personally unappealing or inferior to others. Now again, what we see is this belief that everyone else is much more capable and confident. Again, comparing themselves unfavourably to others, filtering out their own successes, their own qualities, seeing themselves, believing themselves to be unlikable compared to other people. So lastly, number 7 is unusually reluctant to take personal risks or to engage in any new activities because they may prove to be embarrassing. Again, the belief being, I must not allow anything to upset me. I must not allow anything to distress me. So anything at all can seem overwhelming. Again, there's that fear of failing, being ridiculed, or the fear of succeeding, being scorned or envied. One way or another, the fear of taking any kind of personal risk. When you think about it, the truth is, to try anything at all is to risk failing, every bit as much as it is to risk succeeding. It is really only through our failing at something that we learn, every bit as much as it's through our successes that we build and develop. People with avoidant personalities, they tend to remember how it felt, and it's always the feeling that they are trying to avoid. So that's avoidant personality disorder. Now, can it be treated? Can someone with an avoidant personality recover? Well, I believe yes, they can, with the right kind of support from a mental health professional, for example. Yes, indeed they can. However, the thing to remember is it takes a lot of hard work, a willingness to take safe risks. Now, when I say a safe risk, I always look at it like this. If you're afraid of the water, you don't jump into the middle of the Atlantic just to see what it's going to feel like, okay? It's little small steps at a time, safe risks to help build resilience and confidence. You know what? Maybe that's a video for another time, okay? But listen, I'm always keen to read your thoughts, your experiences and your comments on these topics, and I like to respond to them when I can, so please feel free to use the comment box below. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to my channel, and until next time, thanks for watching.